Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Brick Filmer Podcast, a podcast series where I answer your animation questions. Today, we'll be covering some questions such as, how do you come up with comedic dialogue? Should you focus on views or subscribers? Is masking worth the hassle? I didn't write any other questions, but there's other stuff. Also stuff for light flicker. And stuff. Yeah. So, as you can tell, I know exactly what I'm doing in this podcast. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about the sponsor. I'm not gonna do that anymore. That's just cheesy. Go pick up my free animation setup checklist guide. It's a free downloadable PDF checklist thing. It covers stuff like lighting setup, set setup, camera setup, your surroundings, and avoiding light flicker. All pretty good stuff in there. I'm pretty happy with it. I might update it. So if you do download it, it's completely free. If you do download it, then let me know if there's other stuff you want me to put in there, because I do feel like it's kind of lacking. That may just be me though. I've had zero feedback on it, so any feedback on it would be much appreciated. I want to make it the best thing it can be. And yeah, I'm also wanting to do an animation technique, free downloadable. But anyways, with that said, I am going to get into this. Oh my goodness. Just for context, it is currently 9 p.m. Thursday night. This thing goes live 4 p.m. tomorrow, so I'm getting this done the last minute, and I gotta animate for day 9? Yeah, day 9 of this 30-day challenge I'm doing. Fun stuff. I am so pumped. I definitely do not want to go to sleep right now. Anyways, let's go. Let's get into the first question. All right, the first question we have is from Unpaid Animations. He asked, question for the next episode. How do you come up with funny voice lines? For example, I make a series of comedy-style brick films, and the animation turns out amazing, and I have some really good jokes. That sounds cool. But what I'm getting at is, how do you come up with good comedy lines? I asked if he was talking about voice acting or scripting itself. He was talking about scripting. So when it comes to scripting comedy, I don't really think it's something you can force. In some ways it can be, but oftentimes it just comes to you in your everyday life. So I wouldn't really try to force it or overthink it. One thing that I really enjoy doing, if I'm ever stuck on scripting or anything else in general, is I like to write in a notebook. And I'll just write, I haven't done this in a bit, but I do want to do this more. I just write completely random stuff. Sometimes the stuff I did during the day, I usually write this at nighttime. Sometimes the stuff I did during the day, some general thoughts. Other times it's I'll just make myself write random stuff like potato or chicken. I often write food for some reason. I don't know why, but I that's just how my brain works. But I just write random stuff like that, like paper airplane. It sounds so weird. I know. I'm probably the only person who does this. Actually, no, I learned this from a YouTuber, so I'm not the only person who does this, but I'm one of the few. But I'll just write random stuff on a piece of paper. And what this does, sounds crazy, I know, but what this does is it opens up your mind and kind of lets it free roam. It kind of just lets it roam around. It removes any blockages of any creative walls almost of oh, I gotta think this way. I have to look at things this way. I have to do things this way. When I come up with ideas, I have to only write refined ideas. No, you're just literally writing random stuff. Sounds super like random. Yeah, it sounds super random. But it really opens up your mind. This is how I I'll wait, hold on. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. What this does, yeah, it allows your brain to just kind of roam around, and it allows random ideas to pop in your head. If you don't believe me, try this for yourself. It allows random ideas to just pop in your head, ideas you would have never thought about if you filtered everything before you wrote it down on paper. Like, you literally write the first thing that comes to your mind, no matter how random it is. It lets your mind glide around. And so you then have these wild ideas, and sometimes they're like really weird and bad ideas, I will admit. But you write them down anyways. And you get to a point where you're like, something pops in your head, and like, oh wait, that's cool. Like, you'll write chicken and burger. Let me try to think of a word that isn't food. Paper. And then you'll come up with this weird idea of like, wait, what if a chicken is riding on a paper airplane? If you animate that, that would be cool, but I wouldn't. But and it's just like random ideas. This is exactly how I made the lighting tutorial on my channel I made a year or so ago. This is how I came up with Smiley Face Dude. This isn't how I came up with Super Sophisticated Super Guy. That was more so a constraint for a competition or animation contest. And so I get really excited and like thought of that animation in like under an hour, had a full script ready. That was a different way. You can also like constrain yourself to like, I can only have a superhero animation. It has to be quirky. Okay, super sophisticated super guy. Boom, got it. And like filtering your mind like that can also be pretty cool. But the more common way I do it is just write random stuff. Sounds really weird, but it works. Trust me, it works. And so, yeah, because when I wrote the lighting tutorial, I was just writing about lights. I was just like, oh, I really like lights. I really like principles of lighting. It's so cool. It's so fun. I can't get enough of it. And then it dawned on me, wait, I need to make a lighting tutorial. And then I like wrote stuff I was going to talk about in the lighting tutorial, and like even like the full script on paper. I don't usually write the full script on paper, but in this case I did. And so, yeah, writing on paper is a big thing. Like when you type on a computer, I'm trying to remember the study. It was like if you, I completely forgot about it, but bear with me here. But basically, if you type on a computer, you're using a fraction of your brain compared to if you were to write something by hand. You're using a lot more brain power, and it feeds your creative energy. And if you wrote in cursive, it like skyrockets. So maybe we should all just write our scripts in cursive. Maybe that'll help us. I have not reached that level, but yeah, something about writing by hand. I would recommend it. Like, typing is a good. Okay, I'll say this: I type my scripts and outlines. I type everything. But when it comes to coming up with ideas, I write, because I know that's where my creative energy is like writing by hand, writing random stuff. And like, I did this once. I had like 10 content ideas just from like writing random stuff. I'm like, ooh, I could do this. Ooh, wait. Oh, and my brain goes down another path. Like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And so, yeah, that's so good. I went kind of off direction from what you were asking. Apologize about that. But another thing, especially with like silly stuff, like writing silly animations, get somebody to brainstorm with you. My stuff, Smiley Face Dude was completely my own thing. Like, I did that all by myself. Same with super sophisticated super guy. I did that by myself as well. But the Iron Squad, which I'm currently working on, which I think is one of the funniest Star Wars Lego stop motions I've ever seen, that could never have been done by me alone. My brother is very good at coming up with silly stuff, and so we just brainstormed that whole thing together. I had another friend came up with some cool and funny like scenes, random scenes with a janitor droid. And so, yeah, we just came up with like all these silly ideas and we just pieced them together. So, like having another person to brainstorm with you and like play around with the idea and have fun with it is like so good. It is so good. It helps so much because it gets rid of that creative block. And so if you do have like a friend or like, you know, somebody who like is willing to like just play around with this idea, definitely talk with them and be like, hey, I have this scene right now. What should he do? Like, what's something silly he could do or say? And just like going down that way is like really fun. Really fun. But yeah, that's my top tips. I was not expecting to answer that question for so long, but here we are. I'm a rambler, guys. I'm a rambler. That's kind of why I'm doing this podcast, I guess, because it's my rambling outlet. I'll have you know, I don't usually ramble. No, I sometimes I do in real life, but I ramble the most on this podcast. Oh my goodness. Let's see. The next question is from the Big Kid. He asked, here's a question. I heard a guy say that views is everything on YouTube. Everyone chases the subscribers, but subscribers mean nothing if you don't have viewers. Very true. Would you agree? Yes, I do. And if so, how do you focus more on views and less on subscribers? To simplify it the best way I can, you can have 1,000 subscribers, but if a video has 10 views, then it probably wasn't a great video, or it wasn't a great topic, or it wasn't executed well. And so, like, what am I trying to say here? Subscribers do follow views, but I get what you're saying here. Because I'm thinking, like, if a channel has 50,000 subscribers but only 100 views on their videos, then they're not doing that well. But there is a case where it's like, okay, if you post a video, it gets a bunch of subscribers, but low views, is that a good video? I would say it's a good video because the subscriber to viewer rate is very high. However, this is tricky. Views are important. Engagement is better. Like, how long did they watch the video for? Did they like? Did they comment? That's what I'm looking for. Is like, did this encourage engagement? Like, commenting. Maybe they subscribed. I don't really care if they subscribe or not. I don't base a video based on like, how many people subscribed? I base on, okay, did this video get a lot of views? Okay, great. The like ratio to view ratio is really high. Okay, I'm looking at that. Everybody's commenting on that. So they obviously like this video. So even if they get a little bit of views, but everybody's saying this is a great video, then I'm doing something right. I just need to refine the idea. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. One of the big thing is watch time. For me personally, is like, if they watched for like over 3 minutes, then, you know, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. And that means I'm making an engaging video and, you know, people enjoy watching it. Yeah. I'm trying to play out like what this question is. I didn't realize you could have been saying something different. I heard a guy say that views is everything on YouTube. Everyone chases subscribers, but so, yes. Okay. Yeah, if you mean like making shorts for subscribers, yeah, you're going to get a lot of subscribers from shorts because they just reach a broad audience. But that broad audience ain't going to be interested in your long form content because they just subscribe to a short. So, yeah, don't chase subscribers in that way. Don't chase views either. Don't chase anything, actually. Like, I say this often, but like, if you're not having fun making it, I don't care if it gets you 10 million views per video. If you're not having fun making it, it's not sustainable. It's just not. You're just gonna be like very, like your channel's gonna do great, but you're gonna be really sad because it's like, now I'm forcing myself to make content I don't like, and I would rather get 100 views per video and make content I love, rather than have millions of views per video and make content that I'm like, I don't ever want to make that video ever again for the rest of my life. So views is not the most important thing. The most important metric is, are you enjoying it? And did you have fun with it? And do people actually enjoy it? Did they get stuff from it? Let's take a tutorial, for example. If my tutorial got like 500 views, I'd be like, oh man, okay, that's all right. But if I have like 5, 10, 20 comments saying, dude, I needed this. This was so stinking helpful. I'm like, okay, that made my day. I don't care if it just flopped. If I got a few comments saying that, then I did my job and I can move on with a smile on my face because I made content that impacted people in a positive way. And so there is that of like, are the people, it's not just are a lot of people viewing your stuff, are the people who view your stuff liking your stuff? Can it just not get enough of your videos and like, I want to see more of this. This was awesome. This really helped me. Or this animation was so cool. Or this challenge video, oh my goodness, it was awesome. Like, are they really enjoying it? Are you building a solid community and not just passive viewers? That's another thing to look at. And so that's kind of how I see it in a nutshell. I would go longer on that, but I really don't want to ramble for the next 20 minutes on that. So we're going to move on. I think you got the gist. Let's see. Moving on to another question from the big kid. The big kid, I just want to thank you. You are a very huge supporter of this podcast. Like, I made a poll like last night. I was needing more questions for today's episode. And I already have like a question from the big kid. But he commented that morning with, was it this? I think it was this question. Yes, it was this question. So yeah. You pulled through, my friend. You pulled through. Let's see. He asked, what's your opinion on masking? Do you think it's worth the hassle? Or does clear bricks work just fine? Okay. Okay. So if it's a brick film, like an actual official brick film you're making, I would do masking. I would not keep the clear bricks in there unless it's for comedic purposes, which is very far and few between. So when in doubt, I would mask. If you're doing a test animation, however, leave it all in. You've probably seen my 30-day challenge series. I mask nothing. Like nothing. I leave everything. I've actually, day 7, which actually, okay, post this, yeah, it would be this morning if you're seeing this Friday. It would be this morning was day 7. If you see the animation, I had my entire hand in the frame holding the minifigure. I was just done. So if you're making a test animation, just, don't worry about it. But yeah, for an official brick film, I would mask. I can say that because I have an editor that's like makes masking really easy for me. If you're masking in stop motion studio, I feel for you. I am so sorry you have to go through that. I'll leave you with a tip though. Duplicate your project before you mask in stop motion studio because it is very destructive. Like if you mask something and you exit out, it will stay masked and that frame is completely ruined forever. So duplicate your project before you do that and you'll have a lot better of a time. Anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts on masking. if you can, like, hide the rig entirely, this is really hard to do. And there are points where it's just like, okay, it's easier to just mask rather than spend a long time trying to hide this rig behind stuff. A lot of that involves like set design and stuff. But yeah, you can get creative and try to hide it. Try to experiment with different ways, like hide it behind a box or something, and have it like directly behind the minifigure in front of the camera, so it's like you don't see it, the camera doesn't see it. But yeah, let's see here. The next question we have is from Ezra Meyer. He asked, "Hey, question for the next podcast. Do you know of good camera settings for the lightsaber technique when you flash a colored flashlight on a piece of paper or a white Lego bar? I tried to do it, but the light was too bright and it did not look good. If you know of good camera settings, that would be great. P.S. am seriously considering using Fish Stick Studios for a channel name. Let's go. Dude. You don't have to, but if you do, that would be so cool. Fish Stick Studios. Oh my goodness. For those of you who didn't watch last episode, I had a question from Ezra Meyer about channel names, and I had like just spat out like Fish Stick Studios, and he was like, "Dude, I'm considering this. This sounds like a good name." So, oh my goodness, I just found that funny. Anyways, but yeah, with the lightsaber thing, if your lightsaber, like on a piece of paper, it looks blown out and like white, and it doesn't have that color that you want to it, like say it's a blue lightsaber, I would do one of two things. I would do this first. Obviously your flashlight is way too bright, so I would put like a piece of paper in front of the light, in front of the flashlight, and dim it down until there is color that comes back to the lightsaber. Another part of that, if you get to a point where it's like, okay, this light's really dim but still blown out, then perhaps your shutter speed is cranked too low. Yeah, cranked too low, like 1/30th, 1/40th of a second. I would recommend like cranking it up a bit, like 1/80th of a second, 1/25th of a second, if it helps it. For general animation, I do recommend like 1/50th to 1/80th of a second for shutter speed. But for this case, you do want to dim the exposure just a bit so that it doesn't blow out any flashlight like that. And yeah, that's what I would do. I'm not sure what you animate on. If you animate on a DSLR, then I don't think you do. I thought there was. Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, that's typically what you would want to do. I do want to animate like a lightsaber test. Maybe in the next few days I'll consider it for this challenge. Side tangent. I am super like surprised at like how consistent I have been with this challenge so far. Like, I more so like how little time it takes to make a video. Like, I spend an hour or two animating. Really just an hour, really. Like an hour and a half. And then I spend about an hour and a half editing. And then I make the thumbnail in like 10 minutes from like a screenshot or a few screenshots from the animation. And I post a video. And it's like, why was this so easy? Of course, it's like hodgepodge editing where it's like cut. Okay, good enough. Slap some music on there, put an audio preset on there. Looks good. Let's go. But it's just like the idea of like, this doesn't take as long as I thought it would to make a video every day. So I just thought it was cool. Anyways, Amen Animations asked, how important is it to animate different characters differently with different emotions and movements, and how can you simply execute that? That is a very good question. How important is it to animate different characters differently with different emotions and movements? So if you have I wouldn't overthink it and be like, oh, everybody has to have their own distinct moveset. I mean, if you do, that would be awesome. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but maybe not, like, don't go overboard with it unless it's like a super goofy animation. But if you have a serious guy and he's like it's known that he's just this serious guy, almost grumpy, you don't move him as much. You just keep his movements minimal, let the audio do the talking, the dialogue. And yeah, and if you have like a notably like goofy characters, like throughout the whole film, he's just goofy. He's just the quirky guy of the film. Then you want to match that in the animation. You want to make his movements pretty snappy. You want to make him like super articulate, move him around a lot. And yeah, make his animation like super fun. Super fun. And so in that regard, yeah, definitely do that. But if you have like different characters who are like, you know, maybe it's a serious animation and it's like all of them are, you know, some of them are a little different than each other, but nothing like super quirky about them or like they're super serious, then like compared to the rest, then I wouldn't really bother with making their movements like totally different. If they're mad, yeah, make them mad. If they're happy, make them happy. But all in all, I wouldn't like make one person snappy and one person smooth just for the sake of it, if you know what I mean. It is cool if, okay, I will say this. Have the animation match the personality, but after that, you're good. You're pretty good. That's pretty much what I'd say with that. Like, okay, a good example would be the Iron Squad. I don't know how many times I'm going to reference the Iron Squad in these podcasts, but it is kind of top of mind. With the Iron Squad, Douglas, Mitch, Gunner, and Skid, who are like the clones of the film, are pretty normal. They all kind of act the same, just my style of animation. Pretty good. Petra, on the other hand, who's the captain of the squad. Oh, excuse me. I am not editing that out. I refuse to edit this podcast. I apologize for your ears in advance. Or no, not in advance. Anyways. Petra, however, is super like you've heard the voice lines if you watched my live streams. Like, he is super. He's like a drill sergeant mixed with Kool-Aid Man. His voice lines are off the charts, like screaming, like in a funny way, not like traumatizing the clones, but close enough. And his movements, I'm making them like super snappy. Like, it just matches the dialogue. I think the main thing is just match the dialogue. If an animation looks good to the dialogue, then do it. If it looks like, okay, he's kind of exaggerated, but the movements don't look that exaggerated, then yeah, retake that and make him more exaggerated, or vice versa. If he's like, you know, more mundane dialogue and he's super snappy, that doesn't fit. So yeah, it's just play it by eye. I was gonna say play it by ear, but you don't listen to an animation. Actually, okay. Anyways, Anyways, what was I saying? I don't know. Anyways, that's it. That's that. Make him good. Make him good. I don't know. My brain just went to sleep for a few seconds. Okay. Outer Rim Rogues commented on Spotify. Oh, I just bumped the mic. He commented on Spotify. Yes, it is true. I am on Apple Podcast and Spotify. I should probably link that in the description, but since my channel is still new, this Brickfilmer podcast channel is kind of new, I cannot put links in the description. Maybe I'll link it in a pinned comment if I ever do remember to. Yikes. I'd be surprised if I remember to post this on Spotify, much less link Spotify to. Anyways, he asked, "Hey, I have a question. How can I keep a good posting schedule, even when I have school?" Ooh, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Because animations take long enough, even if you worked at it full time. But during school, man, that is tough. There's a couple different ways I want to answer this. I'll just start with one and see where it goes. Cue the ramble. So I would say, speaking from a productivity standpoint, yes, I'm being like that. Um, I would set like concrete times of your day where you're like, for these 2 hours, I am protecting these 2 hours, and I am committing myself as best I can to animate, whether that be probably in the evenings would probably be best, or at night before you go to bed. Like, I am committing these 2 hours of my day solely to animating. I'm not going to be doing any other hobbies. I'm not going to be distracting myself with YouTube stuff, because YouTube is very distracting. Very distracting. And yeah, you could just say like, I'm animating on these 2 hours every day, non-negotiable. And so you'll find that, oh wait, I actually do have time to animate, and I can actually work on stuff. I haven't seen your channel, honestly, so I'm going at this kind of blind, so bear with me. You can also make content by live streaming if that's something you want to do. It's not for everybody. It wasn't for me when I first started, but I kind of got into it and I was like, okay, this is fun. This is cool. You can live stream while you animate. That creates content around you making content, which leads to my next point, is create content around you creating content. Once I understood this, it was like, wait, I can do anything. I can make a video every day for 30 days. What do you know? My voice is cracking. I need to drink some water. Okay. Bear with me. I will be back in about 5 seconds. Anyways. But yeah, create content around you creating content. Make like a weekly vlog of you animating. Be like, here's what I animated this week. That sounds crazy, but people are super interested in that. Some people, a lot of people, are more interested in BTS type stuff, vlog type stuff, documenting the process more so than the actual animation. And guess what? If you do this, it builds hype around your animation, especially if you're making like a minute long, 3 minute long, 5 minute long, 10 minute long animation. It builds a lot of hype around it, gets people excited, and it gets you more engagement. You build a bigger community because now you're appealing to people actually wanting to learn the process. It's really cool. It's not for everybody. Not everybody has to do a BTS. I personally find it really enjoyable because I can actually make videos that don't require much animation. And while I really do enjoy animating, I like talking about animation a lot more. I know not everybody does that, but I personally find that out. I found that out through this podcast, through tutorials and stuff, through this challenge. It's like, this is so easy to create content. This is so easy. You don't realize how easy it is until you're willing to step outside the box and be like, what content can I create outside of just the ye old animation? How can I create content around me animating? So even if I'm not very productive with my animations, I can still have like consistent uploads on my channel around the animation. And I'm not saying like you have to teach tutorials either, and it's not for everybody. If you know something really well, then yeah, teach it if you want. But I encourage everybody who listens, especially you Outer Rim rogues, like, think about ways, like, I know a weekly upload schedule sounds really crazy. I'm not committing to that. I'm committing to every other week. Although since this daily upload challenge, I might just commit to a week because that sounds like a good break, honestly, compared to this. But yeah, like, have a time block of, I'm working on my channel 2 hours out of the day. These 2 hours, non-negotiable. I don't want to say it like this, but I don't know how else to say it. I almost treat it like a job. Don't treat it like a job, but set time constraints like it is a job. Like, I'm putting in my shift from 9 to 11 p.m. or 5 to 7 p.m. Something like that, where you're committed to it. So it does a lot of things. It makes you accountable, And also, you have a time restraint of, oh, I have to be done by 7, let's say. Now, do I really want to bore you with productivity, like, hacks? I don't know. I'll say, like, Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law is where, like, work time... Oh, my goodness. Gibberish, people. Gibberish. Parkinson's law is basically... work expands to the time you allot to it, the time you give to it. So this is true to an extent, I have found. If you give, like, if you say, I'm going to make a video every other week, you now gave yourself 2 weeks to make a video. So what's going to happen? You will feel busy working on it throughout those weeks. You'll feel like you're getting stuff done. You'll put a little edit here, put a little edit there, brainstorm for 5 days. Like, oh, what am I making? I don't know. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. Oh, I don't know. Decision fatigue. And then, you feel like, oh, wow, it's really hard to make a video every other week. I'm just barely getting by. But then you do like me and be like, oh, I'm going to post a video every single day. I peaked the audio. I apologize to those wearing earplugs. Anyways, I'm making a video every single day. Now guess what? Those 5 days of like, oh, what do I make? What do I make? Oh, they go away. You know exactly what you're going to make the first hour you work on this, because you ain't got no time to think about it. Your first idea is like, okay, good enough. I'm working on that. You start filming it or animating, and you're like, okay, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, go. Not like rushing yourself to a point where nothing looks good. But it's like that 80-20 rule where it's like a lot of things you see, like, oh, I have to get this perfect or else people are going to think it's horrible. Nobody sees that, especially with editing. I found it out. I'm getting text messages. I found that out, like, especially with editing. These videos are so hodgepodge editing. Like, the 30-day challenge is so hodgepodge. Like, I already said that. You get the point. You've seen it. Maybe people notice, like, oh, wow, it's a really laid-back editing style. Yeah, it's a really laid-back editing style because I don't have time to make hyper attention span feeding videos where it's like, cut, cha. I can't do that. I don't have time to do that. I just make the cuts. I cut to good moments, and then I piece it together, slap it all together. I'm getting texts out the yin yang. Let me silence my phone. And so now I'm at, I don't rush it, but I do, I have realized that, like, I waste a lot of time making videos since this daily challenge. I'm like, I waste a lot of time making videos. I can make a thumbnail in 10 minutes. I can edit this video in an hour or two. I can film a video in an hour or two. What have I been doing for 2 weeks to make one singular video? Why have I made it difficult for myself to actually make a video? And so forcing myself to post every day, I'm not telling you to post every day. I'm just giving an example here of Parkinson's law. Forcing myself to make a video every day has allowed me to, like, open my eyes to see I put a lot of fluff in these, in my process. And I forced myself, I had no choice but to force myself to cut all the fluff of the stuff that didn't matter, the 80% that didn't matter, and leave the 20% that actually does lead to 80% of the results. That's the 80-20 rule. I cut out 80% of the fluff and left the 20% that gives 80% of the result. I hope that made sense. But basically, 80% of that fluff resulted in 20% of the quality of the video. So if I just allow myself to be okay with cutting out 20% of the quality of my video and not aiming for perfection, but good enough, now I only have to work a fraction of the time and I get videos that to the average person look just as good, because that 20% of the results from that 80% of the fluff is really just stuff that I only see and everybody else doesn't see it. So when I cut it away, people are like, oh, this was a great video. I love this series. This is so awesome. And I'm like, like take day 5 for example. Like I thought that video was like super bad and like why am I posting this video? It's so bad. Oh my goodness. But people are like, oh my goodness, this is a great video. I love your animating style and all that. I'm like, people are gonna like what I post, whatever I do, as long as I, put effort into it. Like, and that's just like what I've learned so far. It's like people don't see what I see, and I'm just leveraging that, and it's helping me to create videos at a much faster pace than if I were to just be like, oh, gotta make this editing cut, gotta put this B-roll in, or else people are gonna get bored. I don't care anymore. Like, if you're getting bored 20 seconds into the video, you're not going to watch the rest of the video anyways. So, that's just, like, okay, I shouldn't say that because the hook is very important for videos. So I shouldn't frame it like that. But you get the point of, like, at the end of the day, good enough is good enough. It's also fun because I'm not forcing myself to do a bunch of fluff. When I say fluff, I mean like critiquing a thumbnail or like, oh, this animation has to be flawless. No, it looks pretty good. Okay, good. Okay, that's great. Awesome. Okay. Try not to speak gibberish here. Bear with me. But yeah, it's just like, it makes things so much easier. And it's like, everything's so much more fun because I put in a fraction of the time and effort I usually put in, and I just get the result almost like instantly. It's like, this is so satisfying. It's like constant satisfaction loop. Every day I upload a video, it's like so satisfying. Like, how in the world am I doing this? I'm so cool. I don't think that, but anyways, yeah, I hope that answered your question. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I just went on a selfish tangent there. I don't know. I have no idea. Ay. Did I tell you I can ramble? I can ramble. My goodness. I hope somebody got something out of that. I know I did. Ay. I need to sleep. No, I need to animate. Yeah, that's what I need. Okay. The last question we have is from Scouts Bricks. He asked, what are some easy fixes to light flickering in my videos? Ooh, light flicker. First off, watch my lighting tutorial. I'm not linking that down in the description because I know I'm not going to remember to do that. But check the description just in case I do remember. So light flicker comes from 3 different sources. Firstly is your surroundings, window light, room lights. Yes, room lights do cause flicker. I leave my room lights on, but I'm cautious to not stand in front of a room light that's shining directly on my set because I know I'll cast a shadow. As long as I can do that, I can leave my room lights on. Same with window light. Like, if I animate in the evening, I leave my windows open. It doesn't make a huge difference. I should probably close my windows, my curtains. Yeah, anyways. So surroundings, your light source, and your camera settings. Your light source can flicker. Tried and true way I test flicker in a light source is you take your phone and you record the light in slow motion. If it flickers, it's a bad light. If it flickers just a little bit, you can probably get by with it. If you crank up your shutter speed good enough, like 1/50th of a second. And if it's like, oh, I don't really notice any flicker at all, then you, my friend, have a very good light, and I would keep that until, like, always keep that light. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, but yeah, that's how you test your light sources. LED lights are typically the best. LED bulbs, not so much, but LED panels and stuff like that are typically better. I don't know how to explain that. So, like, a desk lamp with, like, an LED, like the light I have, if you've seen it before. Anyways. Camera settings, yes. Goodness. Bear with me. Camera settings. So, I did a camera settings tutorial on my channel recently. that covers the gist of things. Also cover camera settings in my lighting tutorial, so just check those 2 videos out. I'm going to make a point to link those 2 videos in the description, hopefully. Yeah, like, keep your ISO as low as possible. Shutter speed from like 1/25 of a second to like 1/50th is a good range. Like, closer to 1/50th would be ideal, because it blends that light flicker together, because it opens the shutter for longer, so it gives the image more time to soak in more light, which is always good. Of course, shoot on manual mode, and yeah, don't animate on a phone. No, I'm not gonna say that. I might have found out how to eliminate light flicker from your phone, because the phone causes light flicker because it edits the photos in, like, by itself, automatically edits it. Even if you put on full manual, it edits the photos as soon as you take it, and it auto edits it, so the editing is always different. So that's another reason it flickers. One of the big reasons why I upgraded from a phone to a camera. I should have upgraded to a webcam. No, I like my DSLR for other reasons than stop motion. Short films! Anyways. But I think I found a way to actually eliminate that editing from happening in Stop Motion Studio. I haven't tested it fully yet. I want to here soon. I've just been busy with this 30-day challenge. But I really do want to. That would make for a really clickbaity tutorial. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, that's how you do that. I'm not going to explain my secret, because it's really hard to explain it, because it's easy to say it and then people do something similar, but it's not the same. It's a settings thing. Anyways, yeah, that's my answer to that question. I hope I can figure that out with the phone, because that would revolutionize everything. My goodness. That would be so cool. Anyways. Yeah. Those are all the questions. So in other words, I'm done answering questions. So, cue the outro of this podcast. Yeah. If you have any questions for the next episode, I would very much appreciate it if you left them down. I don't mean to beg for questions, but since transitioning from my Owen Productions channel to this Brick Filmer podcast channel, you might have noticed a little bit of a decrease in subscribers across these 2 channels. So there's a lot less people asking questions. Those who do are you guys are awesome. You're doing a great job. I am hoping to, figure something out there. But yeah, ask a question or 2. 3 is pushing it, but 2 is acceptable. And I'm going to end this podcast. I'm doing it again. I'm treating this like a live stream. Like, there's actually people watching this right now. And they're like, oh my goodness. Oh wait, whoops. That was the intro music. Anyways, be sure to pick up that animation setup checklist, link in the pinned comment below. Watch those 2 YouTube videos in the description if I remember to link them. I'll see you later. I'm going to go animate for this challenge. God bless you, and have an awesome rest of your day.